The COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill was advertised as a replacement for the state of emergency to manage the pandemic response. The opposition, irked by a lack of dialogue on the crucial bill, stated its disapproval of the legislation. The government would scrap Section 62 of the bill, which criminalizes the spread of disinformation deemed detrimental to public order during the pandemic. But the opposition leader, who accused the administration of executive overreach, argues the government cannot be trusted.
You speak about consultation. The Bar Association, made up of lawyers in this country, has told you that there are provisions in this act that need to be looked into. You ignore them. The Hotel and Tourism Association, an association that you say, all the country depends on tourism, and you have a wonderful relationship with the tourism association, the SLHTA. They tell you, Mr. Speaker, I hope it's on the record that the Minister for Tourism has said that I paid the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association to write a letter. I want to put on the record of this Parliament that the Minister of Tourism said that I paid the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association money to write a letter. That is the level that we've reached in this country. And you want me to trust a government like that? You hear what he's saying? And you think I can trust a government like that?
An exasperated opposition would stage a walkout after pleas for dialogue, civil society discourse, and legislative amendments were ignored, a move that brought a smile to the face of the Prime Minister and a thunderous pounding of the table of the government side.
It's grossly untrue, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, for the member to suggest that when he made the comments that we were not ready, I was very pleased, Mr. Speaker. I was very pleased, Mr. Speaker, when the member from Denby North
Prime Minister Alan Chasney, in his rebuttal, took aim at the executive of the St. Lucia Bar Association and the St. Lucia Hospitality and Tourism Association. The two stakeholders have requested that the bill be put on hold for further consultation. Chasney questioned the organization's motives.
Is the hypocrisy, Mr. Speaker? Because on one hand they are recommending and saying that we have not had consultation, but they themselves as executive members, and I know for a fact, did not have consultation with their members. Because in speaking to lawyers in this country up until this afternoon, and in speaking to hoteliers this afternoon, they did not know that their executive had written those letters. And one has to beg the question, why? Because you have been part of the process. There are many times, Mr. Speaker, that we've been in Cabinet to approve pieces of legislation, and the Attorney General has said no because he needs to get final consultation with the Bar Association.
Observers are wary of the tone and tenor of the legislation, which authorizes stiff penalties for the contravention of quarantine measures. But Chasney denied there is an insidious plot to capitalize on the crisis by tightening restrictions and controls for political gain.
And the same thing that we're being criticized of, Mr. Speaker, despite there's absolutely no evidence that members on this side or Cabinet has in any way abused this authority during this period or taking advantage of the situation other than being focused on who? The people of this country. And Mr. Speaker, job number one for us was to make sure that nobody died. That was an aspiration. There's no way that any one of us 6 months ago would have felt that we would have escaped somebody dying from COVID.
Stakeholders are seeking dialogue to secure the rights of individuals and interests of various sectors. The opposition warns of the dangers of unchecked power, but the government highlights its perceived success in managing the crisis as the mandate to proceed with the planned course of action without reservations. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.